a little bit of news recently. Craig Licicero from Forbidden just did a recent interview with Bloodstock TV, and during the interview, he was talking about the current situation with the band. They don't have a label currently, so he kind of said that they're not looking for a label right now. That they just want to record music, and it kind of sounds like he's a little shy about finding a label. From my impression, he wants to basically, I guess, have a created album or music done and then shop it afterwards. So I'm not sure if he's gun shy or what's the case there, but I thought it was interesting how he sort of put a little bit of shade on the labels. And so I thought, okay, that's interesting. I don't think their house is in order, though. With Steve Smith going back to his own band, One Machine, and then they were forced to bring in Dan Monograin in to kind of help out until they can find another another guitarist. So I just thought it was kind of interesting. So I'm looking forward to new music with the new singer. But yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting news. So hopefully they do find a label eventually, because that would be kind of important. Like they could release it independently. What's that?
And a guitar player. There's no way Chewy's going to leave Voivod.
No.
Chewy does the majority of the writing for Voivod. He's going to miss all that in Forbidden.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just they will eventually find somebody.
Yeah.
Good luck to them. I'm hoping for new music, but I don't know. There seems to be a little bit of doubt there. So I guess we'll have to see what happens over the next, year or so. And so for my spinning this week, it's funny because I didn't buy this when it came out. Necrommonicon, the German thrash band, released an album in 2023. And basically, I don't know, I maybe I missed this. I just didn't pay attention to it. So I started listening to it, Constant to Death. It's actually really, really good. I still got to buy a copy of it, but I was just listening to it on Spotify. So I thought, well, this is pretty decent for a classic band. 12 albums, 12 studio albums in. So I thought that was kind of neat. So I started giving that a spin. I'll have to go out and grab the CD, hopefully shortly. But yeah, that's what I've been listening to this week. But that's all I have, really.
All right, cool. That's a good amount. Jim, over to you.
Yeah, just start with a news item. There's some sad news out of the Great White Camp. And not thrash related, but still heavy metal related. The loss of singer Jack Russell. Unfortunately, really, really sad. Everybody knows a lot of their albums, a lot of their music, and they were a staple, especially in the late '80s, early 80s, mid '80s to mid '90s, but kept putting out tons and tons of stuff. And I know he just released an album, I think, in the spring with Tracy Guns. So it was Russell and Guns. Pretty much right up until when he wasn't able to perform a few months ago. I mean, he was still definitely making music in that. So pretty sad thing there for sure. So, our prayers at the Thrashcast go to his friends and family. And, I know they're doing I think some of the members and past members in that, some of the other bands are looking at doing a benefit concert, so in his honor. So that's pretty cool.
So Jim, before you, just for a sec, so he had that Lewy body disease, the same disease that afflicted Robin Williams.
Right.
So it's one of those rare kind of dementia-related diseases. So it's kind of sad that it took his life.
Yeah, and I think he was in palliative care, but I think kept it pretty private. So I think it might have been in April, or maybe he stepped back from Jack Russell's Great White, where I think they were doing shows at some casino shows and that, and then wasn't able to do them. So I guess at that point, maybe there was a big bit of a warning that maybe something definitely wasn't going on, but I don't think it was fully common knowledge. But anyways, definitely a sad day for that camp for sure. So, we lose a great voice. It just seems to happen more and more. I mean, obviously, as we all get older, but all our icons are getting older too, even though sometimes we don't realize it. We sit there and we're just like, new album. So definitely what I'm spinning, I got a couple of new things that are new to me, not really new, but I'm starting to get all the not really thrash related Axel Rudy Pell. I'm starting to pick up. This one's a 97 one, and apparently from what I read online, this one here, which is Magic, is one of their top 3 or 4 albums. So I'm going back, and I think I'm collecting the whole back catalog now, because I mean his stuff is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And the other one I picked up was a release from last year, and this was, I think, number 12 in my top 20, Godthrim, Distortions. So it's a Doom, a very monumental Doom album. So from the Great Britain, amazing tracks. I mean, there's some long ones on here that go around 8 to 11 minutes, but boy, they don't feel like that. And just really cool. So some great stuff there. I waited for it to come down a little bit in price. It was hovering around that $40 mark for a good 6 months, and then it bam dropped down. I was like, oh, I'm picking this up. So sometimes I need to do that. It's great to get those pre-orders, but right now everything seems to be going up in price so much that you get a chance to get something a little bit more affordable. You jump right on it. So and that's and just a side note too, for any Satan fans out there, Satan just released their first single for their new album that's coming out in September 13th, I think it is. So they're always a really solid band. That's their last album was Smokin', and it's going to be a really good album. The single is amazing, and the video is pretty cool too. So check that out.
Cool. You all good there, Jim?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, cool. Just on the wood spinning, keeping in the spirit of not necessarily thrash. I don't know how much of a glare there is there.
Oh, it looks wicked.
So this is an awesome album from 1990. It's a U.S. prog metal band called Psychotic Waltz. Not like super well known, but I mean the songwriting and musicianship is fantastic. If you like something like the early Fates Warning albums, I think you'll enjoy this stuff. It's got some higher register vocals as well, but again, I can't recommend the musicianship enough. And finally, this stuff was just reissued on vinyl. So for a collector like me, that was big news. Just in terms of two items, I thought maybe one of you guys would got this. There was an interview with Anthrax members Benante and Ian posted yesterday, Metal Hammer, and they gave a thorough update on the new album. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So there are 13 to 14 songs written.
Nice.
They're saying one track that they have largely completed. Well, for starters, he said not a single song is complete yet. So that'll give you an idea of us not hold our breath in terms of timing. But one track he said is going to be very much like In the End from Worship Music. It's turning out in that style. But what I thought was like incredibly odd is he said 3 songs will sound like nothing the band has ever done or ever recorded in the history of the band. So everyone's speculating what the heck does that mean, right?
Well, it could be good or bad. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly, right? So, but he refused to give any hints. They were asking him, well, what does that mean? And he's like, well, you'll find out. So Joey's done vocals on 9 of them. And the other 4 tracks he hasn't, because Scott's still writing the lyrics for them. So still kind of very much in progress. So that's kind of very hot off the press. And then the only other thing, I don't know if you guys saw this, I don't know if it's news, but it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. So I'm gonna mention it. So one of my favorite websites online is actually Jimmy out your way, Eastern Canada, metalrules.com.
Oh yeah.
And so they've been around since 93 or 94, and I've been following them right from the very beginning. I love it. And I'm not going to name names, but there's no stupid pop-ups and craziness you go on the website. So it's nice and organized to read. But they just did an interview the other day with Mark from Death Angel and Kerry King. And so we were chatting about him recently. So the interviewer asked him, well, what's it like to sing the Slayer songs in the set list? So I don't know, this kind of bothered me a bit, but so Mark said, well, I love singing them because he's a fan. So that's cool. I get that as a singer. But he was very clear to say he's extremely confident that he could do the music justice. And he was kind of saying his range is well suited to Tom. And this kind of bugged me. He kind of said, but he can still do the high notes that Tom used to be able to do in his youth.
Oh, slag.
So that was a bit of then he went on to say, yeah, there's one challenging piece, like Tom's phrasing when he does sings really fast. Like that takes him a bit to get used to. But I didn't like that comment that he could still do the high notes.
Oh, he slagged him.
I was reading the interview today. It's a pretty good interview. So if anyone wants to read it, he gives sort of his thoughts, mainly focused on Kerry King. You're not going to get the Death Angel stuff, but that kind of bothered me a bit. But
yeah,
anyway, those are the two items I had.
What a dick.
I don't know. And I guess you never know, right? Like these interviews. So it was done in written. So I guess they did it over email or something. So I don't know. Maybe something got messed up in the translation. I guess you never really know.
True.